Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here doing a review for the special Boruto chapter with Mitsuki. It was called like Boruto chapter 1, but I don't want to call it that because now the official manga is out, so I don't know why they called it that in the past anyway. But I like this chapter. It was a very awesome one-shot. I believe this was the final special thing before Boruto officially started outside of the Road to Boruto manga, which was like, a couple of pages. Like, it wasn't that much, and it was basically just like, here's the day Naruto became Hokage, and then, Himawari effed him up. So this is like the last one that actually had some weight to it before the Boruto manga started up, which even that led to not a lot of weight. I know I haven't read through it yet. I've read the first chapter, but I know where it's headed because it is Boruto the movie, so just can't wait to get through the rest of the rehashing of that movie. But this is a pretty awesome chapter. We get to finally see what the deal is with Mitsuki, or at least for me, I finally get to see it because of the way everything played out. It was like they did Boruto the movie, so we get our introduction to, basically our new Team 7. So we have Boruto, Sada, and Mitsuki. In the film, they have it at the end of the movie where it's like Mitsuki is revealed to be Orochimaru's son. So they have, I believe it was Naruto Gaiden was the first one where it's kind of like, here's the torch being passed on to Boruto. And then there were like two other chapters, one was for Sadara, and then this was like the final one for Mitsuki. And this one I thought was really cool. Of course, the the artwork, I would say animation, but the artwork was done actually by Kishimoto, which is pretty awesome. And it's just a cool little story. It was, I want to say, about 40 pages or something like that. And we get to see Suigetsu, Orochimaru, and Mitsuki. And we also get to see an adult version of Mitsuki. And it was pretty cool. It was like, it's going through, it's like, okay, so they're fighting this enemy. They failed the first time because Mitsuki wasn't strong enough. He got his memories wiped, and Orochimaru was trying to tell him, like, hey, you're my son, I created you. Whether I'm your father or your mother is irrelevant, which I love that joke because that was actually in the movie, and then they brought that over to the manga as well. And this was before Mitsuki met Boruto or Sadara, and it was like, are you my mother or my father? And I was like, I thought it was kind of awesome that he brought that joke over from the movie. So, they brought that over, and then, things just kind of go through, and it's like, hey, you failed before, take this, it'll help you heal up and stuff like that, but we have to go on this mission again, because this person took your memories, and so we have to go defeat them to get all the information that they've stolen, in the past. It was an Orochimaru type of thing. I was like, okay, he's trying to kill somebody because he wants to get a bunch of crazy information to probably do some insane resurrection spell or something else that everyone else would deem illegal. So I was like, alright, this makes sense. He's going to someone who can steal memories and basically hold on to them, and he needs to go, and he needs to take Mitsuki there to defeat him. So they get there, they find this force field, and we see this dude who's all dressed up, and he looked really cool. It was a really great design. It was kind of like, he was dressed like a samurai. So I love that personally, and that was pretty sweet. We have Orochimaru saying to Mitsuki, you're the only one that can destroy like this random force field. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. There's some connection here. So they go into battle with this random samurai character. And I love the way they did it. It was a simple fight, but it looked pretty cool. And we have, Orochimaru, he's all dressed up. Like, seeing Orochimaru, like, basically in, like, a Jonin uniform was actually kind of cool. And, like, he actually has a katana, and he does his hair up in the bun. He really looked like a girl in that one shot where his hair is literally in the bun, and you can only see one of his eyes. I was like, he definitely looks like a woman here. Like, every once in a while they do that, but I was like, I don't think I've ever seen him look more like a woman, outside of in the beginning when he literally was acting as if he was a woman right before he did the third Hokage fight. Other than that, I was like, I don't think I've ever seen him look more like a woman than in this specific shot. So I thought that was pretty funny. But they go through, they end up fighting this guy. We get to see some cool jutsu where, of course, Orochimaru does the snake move, tries to bite through the armor. That doesn't work. And the guy basically uses his armor. It was almost like symbiote. As a Spider-Man fan, that's what I thought of, because it was like the armor was jumping off and then it was covering up Orochimaru. So he's like, Mitsuki, you have to do this because you have Sage Mode. So that I thought was pretty awesome. And he's going through, and then we find out that right before Mitsuki ends up being killed, the samurai stops because Orochimaru had like this little snake that he put in, and it went into the mask and bit the dude and, paralyzed him. So Orochimaru's like, hey, I'll be back. I'm going to go get the scroll. You stay here. Keep an eye on him. He should be, he should be fine. He's stuck. So as he goes away, we have Mitsuki talking to the samurai. He's like, just take off my mask. I'll tell you the truth. He does it, and it ends up being the adult version of Mitsuki, who's telling him, like, he's deceiving you and stuff. I didn't erase your memories to kind of hurt you or anything. It was like, I erased your memories to kind of get rid of anything good for Orochimaru, but he used it against me. And I was like, this is interesting. It was like, he tried to do that to save this kid, but it didn't work. And that was, before the mask was revealed. or the mask was taken off. So he's talking back and forth and is like, you know, he created me years ago before you, but I was able to escape, and that's why he created you. So they're having this back and forth conversation, and then Orochimaru comes in. He's like, it doesn't really matter. None of this stuff really matters. Like, you're both my children. It doesn't matter if I'm lying to you or deceiving you or anything like that. I really just want the two of you to be protected, and I need, you know, young Mitsuki, I need you to come back with me because I can protect you the best. And so older Mitsuki is kind of going the opposite direction, where it's like, come with me because you can escape Orochimaru's lies and deceit, because that's all he is. So come with me instead of going with him. And then Mitsuki kind of loses it, and he activates Sage Mode, which I thought was great because it was very different type of Sage Mode than what we've seen before, because we've even seen it with Kabuto, who I kind of thought was going to be the person under the mask for a second. I was like, that would be interesting, but it ends up, you know, being the clone. So we saw a very different version of Sage Mode from, you know, Kabuto, where he went like, you know, he went like full Sage Mode. He went, you know, from Snake Mode to like full on Dragon Mode, which I still remember is like one of my favorite things. But Mitsuki does kind of like, it's almost like Naruto's cloak, like the Nine-Tails cloak, because it's almost like he's wearing a jacket, but it's like phantom snakes all around him. So I thought that was cool, and he dives past Orochimaru and the older clone of him, and he takes the scroll, and then he leaves out. And we find out all of this was a huge setup by Orochimaru to actually get the younger Mitsuki to make his own choice. And they tried it like 6 different times, and finally on this 6th try, he made his own decision, so they didn't have to wipe his memory. He was finally able to activate Sage Mode, and he was finally able to make his own escape and make his own decision. And so the older Mitsuki's like, you know, what did you actually put in the scroll? And Orochimaru's like, basically I put in kind of like a clue, pretty much, to the sun. So they go through like these references and stuff about Mitsuki being the light in the darkness and him being the moon, but he needs to find a sun to help him guide along the way, or to help guide him along the way. And that ends up being Boruto. So, you know, there's like a news clipping, basically, of Boruto. I don't know why he was on this news. I don't know if it was just a picture. It looked like it was an actual newspaper. So I was like, I don't know if this is just celebrating like the Hokage son or something. I was very confused. Because it was an older, if it was like him as a baby, I'd be like, I get that more. Although that wouldn't make sense as far as timing. But I was like, okay, whatever. There's a picture of Boruto, and there's some words, probably like, you know, he resides in, you know, Leaf Village and stuff. So Orochimaru set up all this stuff in order to basically get his son to make his own path in life and go forth towards Konoha and have the life that Orochimaru could never have as the ultimate, or former ultimate villain of the series, who's completely banished from, you know, his hometown. So I thought that was a pretty cool way to do it, leading into why Mitsuki is actually within the Boruto mangas. Like, it was because Orochimaru basically forced him to make a choice. Like, in an odd way, he forced him to have his own freedom. So that explains how Mitsuki ends up in the town, because Orochimaru gave him that. And who knows, it's Orochimaru. I doubt that it's going to be any sort of, you know, underlying plan, just because of the way it all played out. And I feel like, you know, it could have been somewhere in there, some sort of vague dialogue, but it didn't seem like there was any malicious intent whatsoever as far as Orochimaru saying like, yeah, we'll send him in here, and in a couple of years, you know, we'll be able to do what we need to do, or anything like that. Because they were by themselves, there would be no reason for them to not say it. So I don't think there's actually no malicious intent. It's Orochimaru actually wanting for a son that he created to actually have his own life. And I was like, that's actually oddly cool of Orochimaru. So it's really crazy to think that. But definitely a nice chapter. Is one of the final things leading into the official Boruto storyline, going into either the movie or the first chapters of the manga. But I thought it was pretty cool. The animation was great. I can't wait to see Sage Mode activated again, because I thought that looked really cool, and I'm excited to see where that goes, because it doesn't show up in the movie at all. And that, of course, was before you know, even the chapter came out, because like in the first thing of the chapter, it's like Boruto the movie, I think it's like the Blu-ray release date is on there or something like that. So I'm like, okay, so this is definitely after the movie came out. And it's just some extra information as to how he even got to the village. As Orochimaru's son, there were a lot of questions there after having seen the movie. So I was like, okay, you know, makes sense how he got to the village. But I thought it was a good chapter leading into the story, and just explaining how he got there and showing this power that I'm sure we'll see come up in the future, whether it's through the young version of Mitsuki or the adult version of Mitsuki, wherever he may be in this like crazy future that seems to be all, you know, jacked up right now. But we'll love to know your thoughts on this special one-shot chapter. Of course, this is super old at this point, so I would really love to know how you think it stands up to, you know, introducing, or not even introducing, but kind of adding to the character of both Orochimaru as well as Mitsuki. So I'd love to know your thoughts on that and how it just adds to elements that you hope to see in the future of the manga and just where they might go with this character. Because I thought it was really cool, like having what little perspective I had just from the movie. I was like, okay, I like the character, super curious. You know, we see his main thing is that he can stretch and stuff like that. That's kind of Orochimaru's thing, stretching out, and you know, he uses his arms instead of his tongue a lot, so that's nicer. But it's like, okay, there are a lot of questions here. Orochimaru is his father or mother, you know, playing with that joke. But it's like, what's the purpose? And it seems like it's really just for him to actually be a kid, and Orochimaru just somehow finally realizing it's not hard to be a nice person sometimes. So, you know, I thought it was a pretty good developmental chapter for both their characters, just showing like the reason Mitsuki left was because he chose to leave. It wasn't just a secret plan, another plan by Orochimaru. So he's genuinely just a good kid trying to have his own life. And I like that idea. It does add another element to his character. It answers a bit of a question too, like is he just a ploy? Is he kind of just thrown in there? He's kind of like Sai when he first showed up, like what the F is his deal? So I thought that was cool. It answered a question there, and it, you know, gives some development to two characters, one old, one new. So I personally loved it for that. But like I said, we'd love to know what you guys thought about it. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.